a time of profound changes across many different nations, primarily focusing on making the government a fairer and more just group of people, rather than having power go to the wrong people and enforcing terrible laws that ultimately would cause a nation to fall in a matter of time. The primary cause of the change started with the revolution. It sparked something among all the people, and they demanded that they fix or balance out the government's power, and surprisingly, it worked. Jean-Jacques Rousseau made a book called The Social Contract, which believed that citizens should all enjoy the same rights and there shouldn't be a hierarchy. John Locke was believed that citizens should be independent. Countries who focused on complete control didn't appreciate his ideas. That made no sense. In the midst of the 17th and 18th centuries, Europe was awakening from centuries of dogma and superstition, embracing a new dawn of reason, science, and human liberty. This was the age of Enlightenment, a time when the pursuit of knowledge became a driving force and the light of reason began to push back the shadows of ignorance. But what caused the most serious and transformative change during this time? The catalyst was not merely intellectual, but was political. The Enlightenment's post-profound change was ignited by revolutions in thought, and most significantly, revolutions in actions. As ideas about liberty, equality, and fraternity spread like wildfire, the old systems of monarchy and aristocracy began to crumble. The most profound of these revolutions was the French Revolution, inspired by Enlightenment thinkers like Voltaire, Rousseau, and Montesquieu. The people of France rose up against the absolutist monarchy. The revolution called for the universal rights of man, liberty, equality, fraternity. It shook the foundations of society and established the idea that no ruler had the divine right to rule without the consent of the governed. The revolution did more than overthrow monarchs. It changed the very fabric of society. It inspired a new era of political and personal freedoms: freedom of speech, freedom of religion, the end of censorship. These were the rights that had once been restricted to the elite, now promised to all.
For too long we were silenced, but now we speak our minds. No longer will the church or the state tell us what to believe. Oh, shoot.
And we are not free to practice whatever faith we choose. No longer shall anyone live in fear of persecution for their beliefs.
The revolution and the Enlightenment ideals that fueled it offered a radical promise that all people, regardless of race or station, could embrace these rights. Freedom of religion meant that no one would be forced into a particular creed, and freedom of speech meant that truth could be spoken without fear. These revolutionary changes were not confined to France. The ripple effect of the revolution spread across Europe and the world, from the United States to Latin America, from Africa to Asia. The ideals of freedom, of thought, of speech, of belief began to take root. With the revolution, the age of absolute power gave way to a new era, an era where people demanded and began to claim their inalienable rights. No longer would the rulers stand above the people. No longer would a chosen few define the truth. The change was profound, and though it was neither smooth nor universal, the impact of the revolution and the ideals of the Enlightenment would be felt for centuries. Freedom of speech and religion, once the privilege of the few, would become the foundation of a new world order. The light of reason had risen, and the world, forever changed, would never again fall back into darkness.